What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to a brand new episode of the GBA Podcast. This is the platform where guilty by association meets gritty, blissful ambiguity. Thank you so much for all the love and support. And as I say every week, and I'm tired of myself saying it, but I can't help it because it's the truth. I have a very, very interesting guest today. She's a woman, as you guys can see, and she's Arab, as you guys can see. So I'm very happy. We're going to have a real good conversation. And it's going to actually be, again, one of those where it's almost a series. So we're going to do 2 episodes because we really have heavy things that we want to talk about. And I hope you guys enjoy these episodes. I hope you learn. Take out your notebooks and let's get ready. Welcome, Sarah, to the show. How are you
Fine.
doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I am
Hope all is
good.
well.
So you want to introduce yourself, like tell the people who you are and what you do so we get past this and we can get to the juicy part?
Yes, so I have been working into the social work, the NGOs for like 12 years in Egypt, and also a freelancer writer for articles, and I'm a life coach in between. So I have many files for women empowerment and whatever relates to the social issues for women, especially in mainly in Middle East, but especially in Egypt.
Absolutely. So you guys can see, she's also a fellow journalist and she is a life coach. And she is a very strong voice for the women in the Middle East. And that's what we're going to kick off with right away. So talk to me about, there is one thing, because we were going back and forth and brainstorming a little bit for the topics, and there was one topic that spoke to me so much. I want to actually start with it because it's not that heavy, and that is feminism, a bit fantasy and reality. Can you elaborate a little bit on this? Like, what exactly do you mean, and where is reality ending and fantasy starting?
Actually, let's say something in the beginning. We cannot
Mhm.
generalize everything. It's like it's,
Of course.
but what we can see, yeah, of course. Uh, Reality is, um, I mean, do you talking about feminism, not the manpower?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm talking about feminism because the reason why it spoke to me, let me start like this. Have you heard about the 4B movement that came out of South Korea?
Not really, no.
Okay, then this is very good. I'm so interested in what you're going to say. So the 4B movement was inspired from a feminism movement. One is the Me Too movement that started in 2006 and got traction in 2017. And the other one is Escape the Corset, where women are completely against fashion, against makeup, against everything. And the 4B movement came off of that. So the 4 Bs, I think B is the word in Korea, in South Korea, for no. And the 4 things that they're categorically saying no to is no heterosexual relationships, no
Okay.
heterosexual marriage, no dating, and no child's birth. Is that
Okay.
what do
No,
you
it's not
think?
that. It's not that much in Egypt. No, it's not that much. But no, it's not that way here. But
Do you think it can become a thing in Egypt?
and by time, usually things take like years, like 10 years period between like America, Europe, and then the Middle East, then Egypt. So it takes time. But the
Okay.
feminism here is a little bit like controlled by the religion thing
Mhm.
more.
Yeah, talk to
That's
me
why
about it.
probably, yeah. So that's why probably it won't go that far, because in Egypt it's too much. Things go, no matter they do it or not, but they act into the religious outline. They always have to put everything into religious outline, no matter what.
Because it's a
So
religious state, right? I mean, a religious country. It's an Islamic country. Yes.
yes. But I think Egypt had changed a lot also in the past 30 years. It wasn't like
Mm,
that. I mean, Morocco is Islamic and Tunisia is
exactly.
Islamic, but Egypt is going a little bit. culture changes through through what happened in the last 30 years.
Okay, can you just briefly tell us a little details? You don't have to go into a long thing, but just like so that we understand what changed in the past 30 years and what direction is Egypt going?
And before, Egypt used to be like a liberal country, more into liberal.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it was very liberal, it was very modern and up to date. And
Mhm,
by time, when people start to travel on the middle and on the Gulf area, they started to cope with the culture up there and come back, return it to their families. And
mhm.
by time, things start to change, that you will find like 2% only not wearing veil, and the rest is wearing veil just because of culture issue. That's how Egypt changed. And when this change, like now you have more harassment, now you have more other issues, major issues. It wasn't there before because people were more stable in the past.
This
Now
is
when
very
you go,
interesting. How did this happen?
yeah,
Like from being liberal to going more stricter? So are more
when they
women
control the
covering up?
streets, yes,
Oh,
most of
okay.
them, yeah, 90, yeah, 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 we're talking about 92%.
But you don't have
And
to.
you don't have to, but you will get the look.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
You
get
will
that.
always get the look. You will always
Mhm.
get the blame that you are not, like, this is the main issue. You are not. If anything happens wrong to you, to because of this, it's like how we hang our problems, and
Yeah, but I know of a case, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because honestly, I haven't looked into that case a lot, and then I forgot a little bit as well. I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, maybe last year. No, actually, maybe I think a couple of years ago. There was a Somalian woman in Egypt who was raped, and I think they did find the guy and they brought him to justice. They took his life.
okay.
But I don't know, like this is something I heard. I know the case happened, but I don't know. I heard they took his life. I really didn't do any research. So I want to put a disclaimer. This is just allegedly.
You
Did you
see,
hear
women
about it?
only change. Yeah, not really.
Mm-hmm.
You see, women only changed towards feminism in the past years because of the responsibilities. So they started to act like they want to take the rights. They fighting for the rights. They fighting for women empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, through parliament and through the governmental places. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
find women, but it's not like how it's only a picture. The real reality, no, she cannot take a decision unless she goes to a male boss, or she have like, you have the harassment, work harassment in Egypt is very, and the percentage is high due to UN, where the world labor, the UN labor. So you only find the percentage that Egypt, one of the main countries that have work harassment for women, even no matter how much they are feminism, they still cannot take too much rights.
Okay,
They trying.
yeah, talk to me about the work harassment. Like what work harassment is definitely a real thing.
Like if,
And
yeah, like if he's flirting and you don't agree, then you can lose your job. Or in the factories, because they are a little bit from low class, so they have to go to work. So if the supervisor, he will harass half of the girls, and if the one she refused, they can all trick her to get out so she don't tell. So it's very common. I think it's everywhere, but not the way it is up here,
so
because
so
like they have a feeling if you go out to work, then you are either open-minded or you are allowed forever, like,
um
you are in need,
so
so you have to accept
basically
whatever.
the fact that you're working makes you accessible to them.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, no
so
matter.
I guess a lot of women
Yeah,
are
you will
scared
watch.
to talk.
Yeah. It's either you lose your job and you have kids and you have responsibilities, and they are taking a lot responsibilities in the past because you have a lot of divorce. So they have no choice. Sometimes they have no choice. They have to feed their kids. They have to take off the bills. And what they gonna do?
Is it a physical thing or just flirting mainly?
No. It's all grades. You never know. It depends how strong each woman can handle her situation,
Mm.
because I'm sure it's nothing the same, but it could be anything, like touching, yeah, physical. Start. It goes up till physical. Yes.
And you are very active in that spaces. So what exactly, what did you do in this when it comes to work harassment? What did you do to help make it a point so the government? Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes you can talk. Sometimes they only taking harassment as one shot. It's like either work or at college or during the transportation. It's all to them is harassment. Actually, the government in the past 6 months, the
Mhm,
parliament, they raised the penalty. They raised it up from 3 years to 10 years. But the problem is not the penalty, you know?
mhm.
The problem is how can you prove it until you get to the procedure to happen. This is another problem. So
Yes.
sometimes you go to the police station and trying to tell them the situation, and they will be like, "Come on, don't do that. It's gonna be bad for you." So not everybody is able to survive until they prove. So it's a lot of procedure. You need a lawyer. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of things for you to prove that you've been into harassment. You
Do
see, it's
you
the problem is not the penalty.
do you have a number of or just an approximate number of reported cases?
UN have statistics. You see, we always go on
Mm.
UN statistics, and harassment is almost 90% for who wearing veil, and 3% for who's wearing niqab, and there are 2% only who is not wearing any. So majority of the majority of them is from college students, through transportation, and in colleges, through also the academic field, through their doctors or whatever employees.
Teachers?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. So this is also
You
very
see,
young
this is common
girls.
to happen. This is common to happen because when the society start to close up in mind, this always happen everywhere. When you start to get back and everything is forbidden, and that's when the problem increase.
No, no, I totally
So
get that. I
and
totally get that. Mhm.
plus due to economy, يعني, we have a lot of economic problems and issues, and plus the war and all this stuff. It makes the people even working on that are not allowed because it's not a priority. So we've been like in 4 years, things are going down because it's not priority at the moment. First was Corona, all this
I
stuff.
see. I
So
see.
so even if you try to raise your voice up these days, it's not a real priority at the moment. But I think these things will take some time because it's a culture also issue. Yani it's not only about penalty and to prove, it's a culture issue. You need, when you to go to the police station or somewhere to prove that, you need the people to help you to that, not to look at you like you are not the victim, but you are the murder. It's like,
Okay,
so
but
they
let me
always
ask
blame
you
the woman.
let me ask you this, right? Because this is something that I think about sometimes, and I'm really wondering. When you have countries like the UAE or Qatar, and these countries are very, very, very strict with their laws. So if something like this happens in Dubai, these people get arrested and charged right away. And why is the punishment in Egypt not enough to scare people off? Like, where is the difference between, let's say, Dubai and Egypt here?
Dubai have a system. First of all,
Mhm.
Dubai have a system. Second of all, Dubai don't have a lot of people who need to do that. Why? Because everything is open and everything is legit in a way or another. And it's a country of law. It's mainly law. If you did something wrong, I did something wrong, the system will catch it and we will both get treated as persons. But over here, you don't have much system. And that's what I was telling you, the
Mm.
mechanism of the law, how you can prove and how you can apply the penalty. Sometimes when you take the penalty, it's not easy also to go and make him arrested for that. It depends how big the case was in public, then they start to move towards it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever exceptional happen to rise to make a boom, then they have to take a quick action.
Okay, do you
Otherwise, it's not.
is there any case that was big that was actually successful? Like how many success cases about do we have a year in Egypt, for example? Do we have at least two or three or one or
I am not sure, but at least in the past, you can listen to 10 to 15 public cases and they are succeed. Whenever the case go public, it succeed. And that's
yeah,
why,
but
and this is one of the power of the social media. Yani sometimes it's harmful, sometimes it's good, but I think this is one thing of the social media power that you can raise your voice and people can support you, and then things go up to public.
this is also very hard. I mean, you're kind of like exposing yourself, you're exposing your family. Culturally, that's already like a no-go.
People who change things have to be different. They take
Yes.
the burden. They take the
Yeah.
burden. So it's not that easy, you know. And they did like started on before the corona. There were like couple movies about that, talking seriously about that, and they made the changes on the law. So sometimes here and there, whenever time, they people try to push it, but I think now we have more issues than that because girls now know how to defend themselves than before. Like before, they used to be more naive. Now
Mhm.
she know that she might face that during the day, so she have the power now how to defend herself. They start like the mind start to make defense techniques. So you, by time, I think this is where it's gonna stop from. Not because of the law, but because where the women have to take the power to defend themselves
Yeah,
right
makes
away.
sense. Makes sense, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what are the problems that the women in the Middle East and Egypt specifically are facing, in your opinion, at the moment?
You see, Middle East will get out of Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Emirates and the Gulf countries because they stay on a law now, which is different story.
Hmm,
It's
hmm.
like they work on the laws like in America and like in Germany, normal laws. But if you go to Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, still Syria, whatever, they
Hmm.
have like the minor marriages very common, and you
Minor
have like
marriage. Mhm.
minor marriages is very very famous and very common in these countries. You have also they call it جرائم الشرف or what they call it like the betrayal, like like a
You
person
mean?
can kill his sister just because he saw her with a boyfriend,
Oh,
for example.
you mean honor killings? Yeah.
Yes, honor killings. So that's very very well known in Iraq and in Egypt, and has that has to be off because now some people in some villages or stuff, they can kill their sisters just because of money issue, or you know what I mean.
What do you mean because of
So
money issue?
like he want to take her trust fund, so he will say my sister was doing wrong and I saw her, so he killed her, and that's the reason. Also men betray their divorced women. For that they say they are not good, so they don't take the child support, so
But
they lose it.
this is not religious law. This is not a part of religion.
This is
This is
not part of religion,
no.
but they it is still there on the law. And 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 like for example, the famous case was a year ago and they both sentenced to death. The guy, he wanted to betray his wife for the child support, so he sent his friend to rape her, and he goes in the apartment to say I saw her. So what happened is that the guy accidentally, the girl was fighting, she was a good girl, she was fighting him, so he killed her and raped her after he killed her. So that was one of the famous that made a big issue. But we have like 300,000 moms over here in the groups that their husbands try to do that, say they are bad so they lose a child. You can lose anything for the honor, you know, so they
Okay, but
try to push her game.
what's very important for me here is to highlight this is not Islamic. This has nothing to do with, and no religion says to do so.
I'm
Betrayal
sure it's not
already.
because even Saudi Arabia did stop it. It's set by law. Nobody can is allowed to do that for anybody.
Exactly. So
So
so so
in the Gulf
why?
area, too, it's
How
it's
is
uh,
Egypt allowing this?
it's not allowing. It's the old law. We never changed the law. Every time we try to change the law, a part of the people gets of the groups, they get sad. Like if you try to change the Islamic part, the Islamic people get sad. If you try to change the culture part, the culture people,
But
it's
this
like
is
a
not
mix.
Islamic. How can they get sad? This is crazy.
What is Islamic is that if your child is not, if you find like after 5 or 10 years that your child is not your child through the DNA, he still Islamically be your child until the death.
Wait,
So
wait, 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 wait. Again,
this
again,
is
again, again. Do slowly again. So if somebody has
if
a
a man
child,
found,
yeah,
yeah, and he found that his after a while with the DNA accidentally he find it's not his child.
yeah.
If he go to the court, to the child support court, asking to deny the relationship, they refuse it because of the قاعدة فقهية الطفل للفراش. The kid is for the bed. So this is a very famous one. Also, it has to be changed. Many things you see have to be changed on the law.
Okay, I wanna stay here a little bit for one more question or two. So, meaning, if the man finds out this is not his child, it's by law it's gonna stay his child, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but okay, so in America and Europe, it's the same. When you have a baby, you acknowledge and you accept that you are basically the father. You accept the fatherhood, you sign the paper. And no matter what happens after, now it's by law your child. Do
I
you know
don't
what I
know it
mean?
was like that.
No, it's really
Yeah, I
like
know.
that. It's really like that. I can tell you this from friends. It's really like that.
Also,
Yeah.
it's not right either. I know it stays, but this is not. These are not right on the law, because
No, yeah,
also you
but
take in the money issues.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The child support, you mean?
Yeah,
Mm.
and the will and whatever after the will and the stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, true, true, true. The will is obviously also a point. Wow. Okay. So, do you? It's very interesting for me, especially when you look at Egypt now. There are a lot of changes are being made. Egypt seems to be. I mean, we can clearly see over the past 6, 7, 8 months, especially the people do not reflect the government. They don't always agree with the government. Most of the times they actually don't agree with the governments. And I know that in Egypt a lot of things are going on, and I know that there are changes made. You, for example, was the one who told me about the new capital. I didn't even know that Egypt had a new capital.
Yes, they have a new capital now. Yes, that's true.
But is it
Yeah,
official? Because nobody's talking about it.
it's official. Yes, the president. He
Sisi.
he just was renewing his time. It was in the new capital.
Crazy,
So
crazy,
yeah,
crazy.
after 1100 years, this is the first time they praised the president up there on the new capital, and it's a very big city. Believe it or not, it has a lot of towers. It's like close to Dubai. It's a very big city.
Have you been?
Yes, I have been a couple times. They have a lot of big, also courts and like uh, Olympic City. They have many things up there, and I think it's made for the investment
Do you like it?
and for the. I like old Egypt also. I like old Egypt also. Yeah. It's memories, It's a different generation. Maybe new generation will be more adapted to it, but old generation still, you have memories on the old days.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I prefer things to stay the same most of the time still. If they're okay, why break something if it's working?
Yeah, it's
You know?
culture. Yeah, true. It's culture and
Exactly.
memories and spirits and a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, before we end this episode, I want to touch on the minor marriages because that was another topic that we wanted to discuss. Minor marriages, you say, is definitely a thing, but can you tell me the demographics? What people have minor marriages more than others? Because I feel like with this new generation of social media and everything, most people don't really engage in something
Yes.
like this, right?
They say on the statistics that from villages, of course, more than the city, but they say in
Yes.
the statistics that 96,533 in the villages and
Goodness.
only like 21,000 on the city. But I would think the number's a little bit more.
Of course, of course.
That
Yeah.
was in 2022. It rises that on 2022. So we are in 2024. I think it's higher percentage, but it's one of the major problems for many things. Not only health issues for the lady and not all that, but some most of the time they get divorced before they can legalize the marriage. Then the kid had no father legally because it's not allowed to prove the kid unless it's under legal marriage or شرعي marriage like they call شرعا.
Okay, so wait, so when you what do you mean, like what at what age is marriage legal in Egypt?
18 at
Oh, it's
18.
18. So how do we get to minor marriages? How does
And the villages the girl gets to be like built up and they want to get rid of it. They want to finish like the responsibilities. She usually don't go to school or whatever,
yeah,
so she get married around 14, 15.
but how do
By
they
this
get
time
this
her
by law? How do they get this? How do they get the okay? How do
no,
you
they
get
don't get
approval?
okay. They hide it. No, they don't get okay. Minor marriage, the problem is it's not legalized through the country, but so they make it behind. Like they make it orphy.
What is the punishment for that?
1 year. 1 year
What?
maximum. Yes, 1 year maximum
Ah,
or five or 50,000 pounds, which is like $1,000, equivalent to $1,000. Yeah, that's the funny part. It's the same as the circumcise. People, girls die from circumcise, and also the penalty is not that high, and you
absolutely.
can't figure it. Okay, you can't find it either.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, female circumcision is a serious thing. I'm going to get to that as well. Um, I'm just again, minor marriage is nothing new to me. It definitely happens a lot, especially when you have a poor family and they, as you said, they don't want the responsibility and they just want to marry the girl off. And it doesn't matter if you're 12 or 14, as long as you're menstruating, you're
Yes,
a woman now, and now you can go, basically.
yes, true.
But what is your work? What does your work include? What do you do to help these women? How can you help these
We
women?
try we try to help them through the groups, through their court, because the main issue is the social issues, where the child support court is always the main problem here. Single moms are the main priority to me because they always have an issue through also the increase of the money that happened in the past couple of years. They cannot afford to survive with the kids, and then the father, we have like 4 million father not paying child support, and also by the time she gets child support it takes about 3 to 4 years average.
What do you think
So
that is? Is it because men don't want to out of pride and ego, or is it because they have no money? Is
nah,
it
nah,
poverty?
no, the penalty is not high.
Wow.
That's the way it goes in court. It takes 3 years because it's very slow. They have to go and then a lawyer, and then she have to get a money for the lawyer, and she have to go through that. It's like a big job to get to an achievement. You don't get that quickly. The problem is the process is very slow until if you have like, for example, a disabled kid, that would be more problem because you need like the money for the medication and stuff. It's not only about food. It's not only about place. No, there are other issues for the kids. And usually they don't, if the penalty is high and they know how to control it, these men will pay like in America or whatever. So this is one of the main problems. It's like
Mm.
they are financially well, but they tell you when the court give me the penalty, I will go pay. So that's the problem.
Well, I'm going to say men who don't pay child support generally, whether it's in Egypt or anywhere in this world, are just disgusting. This is not for the woman. This is where a lot of people fail to understand. It's for your child that you help make. So,
Of course, and but I think it's increasing on the past. It's getting to increase because some men don't do their roles, and
mhm.
and the women had to take over other rules. So I think it will be increasing. And also the way of marriage is not right. So we will get also increase in the divorce.
When you say also the marriage is not, the way of marriage is not right,
I
what do you
mean,
mean
I
by
mean,
that?
the- because they marry on the culture thing. It's about financial, how much you gonna pay, how much I'm gonna get, how many set of bed, too much financials issue. And then when they divorce, now they are in court. So it's not like they marry because they love each other, they want to continue with each other, or because they are both ideologically okay with each other, they mentally okay. No, no, no. It's because the family need the girl to get married, and he want to get married, and whoever got the financial to cope, they will.
But this is more in the villages, you said, right?
And city too, majority also. It's majority. It's like you will talk about the 75% of the country. The way it's one way. The rest is only exceptions.
I'm gonna say this. Unfortunately, divorce is a thing that is in the West also very, very much going on.
Yeah.
Like you can see, it's increasing, and the reason for that is because I feel like people, as you said, I totally agree with you, marry for the wrong reasons, and after they married for the wrong reason, even if you're married for possibly the right reasons, people don't fight
Yes.
anymore. It's too difficult. Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just get divorced.
I think they did a research in America because they found that divorce also there increased to the top, and they said, how come? I mean, people should have a relationship before marriage, so already they know each other, and then they love each other for 10 years, and then they go marry and divorce. So they start to research, and they find that in our genes, we are polygamy by nature, by default. We are starting to be the genetic thing to be polygamy. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
always
yeah,
looking for
yeah.
children.
But do you remember when the other countries, and it's not just like the Middle East, it's also African countries, it's also a lot of people, when they used to demonize us for polygamy. And I'm not saying I would never agree to this. I don't want to be anyone's second or
Yeah,
third
I
or
know, but
fourth wife.
that's everywhere. It's
Exactly. Okay, well, this is our first part of our session. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a comment. Find us everywhere on social media. Sarah's links also to her socials will be in the show notes. But we will be back with a part two of this episode real soon. And I mean, next week, of course. And stay tuned.